Huge demonstrations across Myanmar, despite the military's warning that protesters could suffer a loss of life. CNN huge crowds brought Myanmar's towns and cities to a standstill Monday in a mass strike against the coup, despite a warning from the military junta that protesters will suffer loss of life if demonstrations confront the security forces. Activists had called for a historic strike following the most violent weekend since protests against the February 1st coup began, in which police often fire on protesters in the second largest city, Mandalay, on Saturday, leaving at least two deaths. Images from photographers in the country and on social media Monday showed tens of thousands of people packing the streets in Yangon, Mandalay, and Naypyidaw, as well as in towns and cities across the country, including in southeastern Dawei in Shan State, Tiangyi in Ayeyar Wadi's Patain, Kachin State's Michinia, and in one of the country's poorest regions, Chin State. In an ominous statement Sunday evening, a military junta said it could use the latter force against the protesters. It found that protesters have raised their incitement towards a riot and anarchy mob on the day of 22nd February. Protesters are now inciting the people, especially emotional teenagers and youth, to a confrontation path where they will suffer the loss of life. The State Administration Council, the name for the military junta now controlling the country, declared Sunday evening on state broadcaster MRTV. A protester waves the National League for Democracy flag while others take part in a demonstration against the military coup in Yangon on February 22nd. Video from social media Sunday night and Monday morning showed the barbed wire blocking roads to some foreign embassies in the largest city, Yangon. The focus point for many recent protest footage also showed what appeared to be police and military vehicles rolling through the street. Protesters called for all offices and shops to be closed on Monday, with activists urging all citizens to join the protest, known as the Five Twos, or the 22,222 strike, in reference to Monday's date. 22nd February 2021 will be a big historic day. Keep watching us and pray for us. Leading protest activist group, a civil disobedience movement, said in the tweet Sunday. We can protest. For more than 2 weeks, thousands of people in villages, towns, and cities across Myanmar have come out to peacefully protest or take part in non-violent civil disobedience movement against the military takeover, calling for the generals to hand back power and release all release of civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other democratically elected officials. The junta has attempted to stop protests by imposing bans on gatherings of more than 5 people and curfews in certain areas and cutting the internet at night. They have also deployed the troops to major cities, including members of elite and counter-insurgency divisions documented to be engaged in human rights abuse and violent, violent campaigns against the ethnic minority. The Assistance Association for Political Prisoners of Burma said at least 640 people have been detained in relation to the coup, but that has not stopped the protesters, who gathered in large numbers on Sunday following the fatal shooting in Mandalay. In Yangon, demonstrators marched outside the U.S. Embassy waving banners that read "Help Myanmar." In Myitkyina, the capital of Kachin State in northern Myanmar, protesters could be seen chanting slogans and waving flags while riding on motorbike. Protesters gathered for the demonstration against the military coup in Yangon on February 22nd. And in the capital, Naypyidaw, the large crowds gathered to attend the funeral of the young woman who died on Friday after being shot in the head during an anti-coup protest. Mya Twi Kin, who was shot just before her 20th birthday, was the first non-casualty of pro-democracy protest. Video of her funeral procession showed a hearse of her with her picture in front and a convoy of vehicles driving out of the hospital. As the procession drove through the street, people on motorbikes and bystanders were seen raising the three-finger salute from the Hunger Games movies, which has been adopted by protesters. Myanmar's foreign ministry said in the statement Sunday that authorities were exercising utmost restraint through minimum use of force when dealing with the protest. It also said that statements and remarks made by some foreign countries are tantamount to flagrant interference in the internal affairs of Myanmar. In a Facebook post, a ministry called on diplomats to respect the laws and regulations of the receiving state and reiterated that a free and fair general election will take place. A state of emergency is in fact in Myanmar for 1 year, but the junta has not given the time frame by which it will hold elections. International condemnation of military action. Several countries have condemned the coup and the violence against the protesters. Singapore warned Saturday that there will be serious adverse consequences for Myanmar if the situation there continues to escalate. Singapore, which was the biggest foreign investor in Myanmar in the fiscal year 2019 to 2020, said it was inexcusable for Myanmar police and security forces to use lethal weapons against unarmed civilians. The European Union's Foreign Affairs Chief Joseph Borrell on Saturday urged the military junta and all security forces in Myanmar to immediately stop violence against civilians. Protesters Protesters hold signs feature Aung San Suu Kyi as they take part in a demonstration against the military coup in Yangon on February 22nd. In Mandalay on Sunday, stringers for CNN confirmed that live around that tear gas were used to disperse people at the anti-coup protest in the city. Volunteer emergency workers cited that by Reuters and AFP news agencies said that at least two people died when police opened fire on protesters. The news agencies reported that between 20 and 30 people were injured in the crackdown. In the video seen by CNN, a large cloud of people could be seen running from police and taking cover behind whatever shadow they could find. In another video, a person could be seen being stretchered away by medics. The condition of the patient was not immediately clear. The military junta defended the actions of security forces in the state broadcast Sunday, saying they used the prescribed crowd disperser method and blamed some notorious ex-criminals and their gangs who used sticks, knives, stones, catapults, and other weapon-like material to attack the security force members. Police stand guard near the U.S. Embassy as protesters take part in demonstration against the military coup in Yangon on Monday, February 22nd. U.S. Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Myanmar, Tom Edwards, said in the tweet that he was horrified at more loss of life as the military escalates its brutality in Myanmar. From water cannons to rubber bullets to tear gas and now hardened through firing point blank at peaceful protesters. This madness must end now, he said. Following the shooting, Facebook deleted a page run by the Myanmar military, the company said. In line with our global policies, we've removed the Tatmadaw through news information team page from Facebook for repeated violation of our community standard prohibiting incitement of violence and coordinating harm, a Facebook spokesperson said in the statement. CNN's Ladina Jigova in Atlanta and Sophie Zhang in Hong Kong contribute to reporting.